Hi, we're looking at CAT 2024 DLR Slot 1 solutions. Basically, the idea of looking at a DLR solution is looking at how to approach the questions and go about it. So my slot in DLR was the slot 1, the CAT 24 was slot 1, and in this section I was able to score all marks, like the total marks which was there, 66 on 66. I was able to attempt all the questions and get it all correct. The approach for DLR should be like you should be able to save time, and once you save time you'll be able to solve more questions. A lot of people waste a lot of time specifically while reading the question, putting the data down. Look at steps while you're doing the DLR sets and ensure that you're able to save time in whichever way possible. So you need to self-introspect a lot, understand where you're wasting time and try to reduce the time as far as possible. So let's look at this particular paper and look at how to approach the question. So first was a candlestick type of, this is like more of investing in stock market. Here calculations are important, and if you're good at approximate calculations or comparing values, this can become comparatively faster. You can solve this fast, and that's where you save time. So one place of saving time is being comfortable with calculations, specifically maybe approximate calculations, and that could help. So here they're given the two cases. One is this is a bear when the opening price is more than closing price. This is a bullish run where the opening price is less than closing price. That means share price is increasing out here, share price is decreasing out here. So daily share price variability is defined as difference in the high price and low price. That means that high price is top, low price is the bottom, divided by average of opening and closing price. So let's look at it for this one, A, C, D, F. If you look at A, what's the difference between high and low? Now one is you can take 200, 400, I mean difference between 24 and 1200, you can take it as 1200 for A, right? And the average of opening and closing is in between these two, exactly 2000. You can take that. Okay, same way if you look at next C, I mean the difference between high and low, if you compare, you can do 1400 minus 800, which comes to 600. And the average of the two, high and low, if you look at it, comes to middle, that is 1000. Right. If you look at C and A are both same, so both can't be the answers. So I can definitely rule that out. If you look at D, the difference between highest and lowest is 1200 minus 300, which comes to 900. And the middle price is somewhere between 1000 and 500, so 750 you can say. And if you look at the last one left is F, the difference between highest and lowest is 2000 minus 1200, which is 800. And the middle price out here is 1700. So you can clearly make out that D is more than 1 compared to everyone else. That would be the answer. I mean, that's one way of trying to solve as such. I mean, this is not very difficult. It's just like putting up the data, and once you put the data, you can clearly make out that D is the only value which is more than 1. You don't have to calculate for the others, so you automatically get the answer. So instead of trying to calculate early everything, try to wait for calculations. I mean, calculation is something which takes more time. If you can just see the values and try to get the answer, you can directly mark the answer instead of focusing on each value you calculate and try to get the answer. So wait for your calculations, put the data down, and if you get the answer quickly, great, you save time. Daily share price variability is difference again in high price, low price divided by average given how many shares has the SPV greater than 0.5 of that day. So we already calculated for few of them, that is A, C, D and F. So if you look at A is more than 0.5, D is more than 0.5, and only F is less than 0.5. So F is less than 0.5, whereas A, C and D satisfies, so F doesn't. Now we have to still calculate for remaining 3, that is B, E and F. So let's look at B. B, the difference in high price and low price, if you look at, is 600, 2000 minus 1400, and this is something around more than 1800. So no, less than 0.5. Same way E, if you look at difference high and low, is just 300, and average is 1200, again no, less than this. If you look at G, difference between highest and lowest, if you calculate it, it becomes 1900 minus 1000, which is 900. And the average comes to something around between these two values, somewhere around here. You can say it comes to around 1500, less than 1600 for sure. So around 1500 or so. So this is more than 0.5. I'm not calculating exactly. You can do calculate exactly, but this is more than 0.5. Yes. So 4 values satisfies more than 0.5. So here you already calculated 4 in the previous case. So you automatically get, so you have to only calculate for 3 more. Just put the data down. You can clearly make out it's less than 0.5 or more than 0.5. You realize that only G is more than 0.5. Rest are less than 0.5. Daily loss. Loss means price going down. That is opening price, closing price, highest daily loss. So if you look at among A, F, G, G is gaining price. So G would be negative. Opening minus closing would be negative. So I'm ruling out G. So we're left with A, F, and B. So looking at difference in the opening and closing price. So for example, A, if I look at difference in opening and closing price is 400. 2200 minus 1800. Right? So 400 divided by the average opening price. The opening price is the top one, 2200. Right? Now B, if I look at difference between opening and closing price is 300. And the average is something around between 1700 and 2000, which is 1850. Right? F, if you look at difference between the opening price and closing price is just 200. And the average comes to 1700, between 1680 and 1700. Now I can clearly make out A is more than F purely because the numerator is double. 200 to 400 is double, the denominator is not double. So I can clearly make out that A is more than F. Even if I compare A and B, I can make out that this is 1.33 times, but 1850 to 2200 is not 1.33 times. It's hardly 350 more than 1650, less than 1.33 times. So you can clearly make out A is bigger. You can also calculate it, right? You can make out that 4 out of 22 is almost 20%, right? 2 out of 17 is not close to 20%, much lesser than 20%. 3 out of 18 again is not close to less than 20%. So you can make out 4 upon 22 is the one would be the answer. Again, approximate calculation I'm saying. I know 4 upon 22 approximately 20%. F to definitely ruled out, nowhere close to 20%. B comes close, but B also you can make out 3 out of 18 would not be 16.66%, nowhere close. So you can mark the answer as A option. What will be the percentage well gained for trader who bought equal number of bullish shares? Bullish shares are these 3 shares, green color, bought at their opening price. Opening price is the lower one. This is like 800 opening price. Here it is 500 opening price. Here it is 1200 opening price. So if you add all the opening price becomes 2500. What is the gain? I mean, if it sells at a day's high, that means here you are gaining a profit of 600. Here you are gaining a profit from 500, you have gone to 1200, so you are gaining a profit of 700. Here you have gone from 1200, you have gone to 1900, right? So gaining a profit of 700. If you add 677, you have gained 2000. 2000 upon 2500 is 80%. So second is the answer. You will get the answer. So yes, key is to calculate as well as possible, fast as possible. If you're good at calculations and good at comparison, these things becomes comparatively fast. So practice simple calculations so that you can do it quickly, right? Thank you.